Over 6,000 scientific experiments, more than 650 peer-reviewed science publications, life sciences, material sciences, clinical trials on human health. But if you look at the world, we see gurus everywhere. We see spiritual leaders. We see personal development leaders teaching and talking, and it's an industry that's booming. It's not in lack at all. Many of it is so prevalent with pseudoscience and magic and everything that there's no need for people to do any science, really, because it targets a part of our lives, right? The emotional and the mental, that personal development part of our lives that science doesn't really have a lot of answers to. And even more so, science doesn't have ways in which we can uplift our potential. It had ways to target, breakdown models of health instead of preventative or even optimizing human potential, optimizing our lives, allowing us to wake up with inspiration, motivation, and enthusiasm, with mental and emotional coherence, with capabilities that we never imagined that we had before. But there's plenty of the world that has an audience for spiritual gurus and for teachers. So why do the science? Guruji could easily have come in saffron robes, grown his hair out long, grown a beard, spouted a few words from the Bhagavad Gita, and America would have gobbled him up. America would have been touching his feet and following everything he said, because that's the state of America with many spiritual leaders today. They'll try anything with the hopes of improving their lives, whether there's scientific evidence or support behind it or not. And this is truly what differentiates Guruji from any other being, any other person out there who's in the same realm, who's doing the same thing, or really who's not doing the same thing that he's doing at all. I mean, in 1995, he realized he had this empowerment, he had this incredible gift through his own awakening, through his own enlightenment, in which he could connect others to the God of their understanding, that through divine blessing, he could harness divine grace and transform all of life as we know it. And he was already doing it. He was already transforming people's lives in India. People had an improvement in their wellness, their health, and their well-being. They had better relationships, better finances, better career opportunities. They were far more successful, prosperous, abundant. But what speaks to the integrity and the powerful honesty of this individual, of this man, if we can even call him a man, is that he saw this. And he saw everybody else in the world. He saw all these other gurus, all these other spiritual leaders. And he understood that today we live in an era in which inauthenticity is at its highest, in which people, corruption, dishonesty, manipulation, cheaters, betrayers, they're everywhere. People can put on one display and feel something very different on the inside. That's the nature of humanity, and we see that in all of our experiences. I'm sure we've had at least one experience in which someone has told us one thing, but really felt or did something different behind the scenes. How can we expect every different from the leaders or the teachers out there? Why should we trust them? How can we trust that what they're doing is really going to transform and change our lives? And Guruji knew, he knew that the worst thing you can do for a person, the worst thing you can do for someone's life is to give them false hope. Think of how faith can completely disappear the moment you realize that the person who you thought they were is not really who you thought they were. That maybe the path you were going down is not the path you thought it would have led to. He understood this side of humanity, and he, more than anybody, wanted to show that if there's something real, if these people's lives are really being transformed, if they're really being uplifted to such a degree, then surely science can prove it. Surely it can be seen in a scientific laboratory. And why not just human life? Why should it only impact humans? Why can't it impact plants and animals, trees, microorganisms, bacteria and viruses? Why not materials, non-living materials, like ceramics, polymers, chemicals? Why should it be only limited to humans? If there's anything that science knows about human nature, is that there's a lot of our lives that is influenced. If there's anything that science knows about human nature, it is that a lot of things in our lives can be influenced through our own psychology, through our own minds persuading us that something's happening when really it's not, right? The placebo effect. So he wanted to know, are these people's lives really changing? Are they really transforming? Or is it simply because, right, these are religious or superstitious people who have faith in a higher power, who have faith in divine, who have faith in, the power of divine grace, or, destiny, fate, and fortune, and how that can be changed through divine, through God. And so maybe through their belief alone, they feel like their lives will be changed through this blessing, and because of that they are. Or is there an objective change? Is there a measurable change? Is there something real that is beyond psychology, that is beyond emotion, that is beyond belief? And that's exactly what he found with all those scientific studies. He found that belief is not a requirement for these blessings to work. That there's a real power, a real potency, a real energy there that has the true ability to connect us with that source of divine in our own lives, allowing true transformation to happen.